Woohoo! It's your witchy friend Grace from Small Worlds Big Adventures with a little Spooktober announcement before a review of the maddening game Eldritch Horror. This week we'll be giving away a game from our personal collection. This week's game is Hako Onna, a heart-stopping game about trying to escape from a haunted house. To qualify, you must live in the United States and comment on at least one video this week, October 22nd through the 28th. We will then randomly choose a winner from the comments. Also, everyone who comments throughout the month, the 1st through the 30th, will be entered for a brand new copy of Horrified, a maddening cooperative board game with iconic monsters. We will announce the winner by commenting on the winning person's comment and announce on each Sunday's video who has won. The more videos you comment on, the greater the chance you'll win. So let us know your thoughts on each game. Hi, I'm Gracie, and this is Scott from Small Worlds Big Adventures, and today we're going to be reviewing Eldritch Horror.
Eldritch Horror is a game for 1 to 8 players. It plays in 2 to 3 hours. Setup, teardown, about 10 to 20 minutes. There's a lot of stuff, a little bit on the long side. Cost is $55 on Amazon, and I will say pretty good price for this game.
Yeah.
Eldritch Horror is another game by Fantasy Flight that is set in the Lovecraft mythos, where you are defeating one of the elder, the great old ones. The difference this time is that you are globetrotting instead of in a small town or, say, a museum. You are adventurers moving around the world, trying to find clues and put down cultists and trying to stop this evil from happening. One of the big differences with this game is there are expeditions that you can do to, say, the Antarctic or to the Egyptian pyramids and various places that can give you great benefits if you have the time and ability to complete them while you're playing the game.
Yeah. Before we get into the review, our question today, since this is a globe-trotting game, is where in the world would you go if you could go anywhere?
Europe.
Just in general, Europe?
I don't know. Ireland seems nice. France, Germany.
Top of the list, number 1, New Zealand. Couple reasons. You're meaning like, why not Australia? First of all, Australia has death animals everywhere.
Sure. Secondly,
New Zealand's so green and lush. And then also, Lord of the Rings was filmed there, and I can go to a hobbit hole.
Yeah.
So, when we rate games, we do it on a 5-point scale from terrible, bad, mixed, good to excellent. To kick it off, player agency.
Agency's good. This is another one of those where, in a lot of ways, your agency is choosing where to go.
Yeah.
You go there, and then you either encounter monsters, or then you encounter the location.
Yeah.
And then sometimes in those encounters, you'll have some sort of adventure where you'll make a choice or have to roll dice for your character to see if you complete it. But you have a lot of places that you can go and ways that you get there, and essentially things that you can do.
Yeah, good for the same reasons. If I had to put a leaning, as sometimes we do, I'd probably go good to mixed, just because travel can be difficult when the whole world is your map.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't have unlimited options. Your choices mostly are where are you going in this, and then you're going to have to do whatever it is where you land or where you end up. But yeah, good.
Going off of that, mechanics, same. I said good to mixed. There's nothing inherently wrong with the mechanics. I think where I kind of lean towards the mix is the travel aspect again. Like, you pretty much have to have something so that you can travel further, and like, depending where you start, where you want to go or need to go can be very far away, and you can spend several turns trying to get there.
Yeah.
The mechanics aren't flawed in that. I guess it's just more of like an annoyance of mine with the game.
Yeah, I can see that. I put mechanics as good. The rules essentially just work. For this, the world's a big place. It's going to take you a while to get to some location. If you played like Arkham Horror or something like that, this still has kind of that razor's edge of difficulty kind of creeping up on you, but it's a little bit slower paced, partly because you're doing this globe-trotting adventure thing rather than running around, say, a small city. And the mechanics, I think are built that way to kind of show that. So if you're just walking, it's going to take you a long time to get across America. But if you have a train ticket or a plane ticket or boat, then you can get there quite a bit quicker. But getting those tickets, take time to get sometimes, or an ability to get them, or they cost you money or resources. So you're kind of deciding how movement in this is essentially a resource more than it is in some of the other games.
No, that's totally fair. Component wise, I said good. Getting towards mixed. With all these Arkham games from Fantasy Flight, they have the standees and a little bit higher expectation of that. Having said that, like the board with like the global cross is beautiful, honestly. If I had to say, like, of all these Fantasy Flight Arkham games, like which one felt the most different vibe wise, it's this one. Like you look at the board and it's not that it doesn't like kind of coalesce, but it feels a little grander, and you have a lot more representation of like world exploration than just straight Arkham and the dark 1920s vibe that normally has.
Yeah, I also said good for components. I think we come down pretty much on the same spot of when you don't have figures at this point. It's a ding against your game, especially when Fantasy Flight have the exact same characters every game. They all have great backstories and everything, but why couldn't you just come up with a series of models for every character? Because you're going to use it for all your games. We already know that.
Now, I will say, in defense of Fantasy Flights, some of these Arkham games are now painfully 20 years old.
Yeah.
Like 2002 doesn't sound that long ago, but in game development.
That is a long time. But yeah, otherwise the mechanic or the components for this are really good. The map is great. We've got cards and a bunch of cards at that. Everything is good.
Yeah. Theming I think is good. Kind of like I was saying, it aligns with the rest of the Arkham horror, like mythos, HP Lovecraft, and all of that. It is kind of left to center because it is on this like global aspect. But I think it adds something to, like, if you're looking at all these games in the realm of like a united world that is having to deal with these eldritch horrors. It is the world exploration aspect of that, and the theming of that is good. Like from the traveling aspect to the little encounters you have at each location.
Yeah, I put theming as excellent in this one. We've played a bunch of, and we've reviewed now for this month a bunch of different Arkham horror and Lovecraftian games.
The last one we are recording, there are 5 total for the month, with an asterisk of one that fits the same vibe.
In this one, I think you kind of said it kind of feels the most different theme-wise.
Yes.
It does a pretty good job of feeling like you're doing this globe-trotting adventure to try and stop this evil from happening. And both the encounters you have and the map play into that, and like how you move around the map play into that. But also so does these expeditions that you can do as scientists or explorers or what have you, add just a really good touch to it that I think the theming for this ends up being excellent.
Nice. Enjoyability, I said good. For me, like, it falls in line with the rest of the Arkham games. I never have a bad time with it, despite them being a little razor's edged. Now, I will say, I think this is probably my least favorite one. Not for anything like strongly like this is a terrible game or whatnot. The globe-trotting aspect just doesn't appeal to me as much as strange little town gets overwhelmed by strange creatures.
Sure. Enjoyability for me is excellent. This is top 5 board game probably for me, period. I do like the globe-trotting aspect to it. I feel like the kind of ambiance and storytelling in this one is kind of just top of the line for this style of game. in my opinion, and I've just really enjoyed every game that we've played of it.
Yeah. What are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. So we played a bunch with just you, me, and our son, which is 3 players. Some games don't play well at 3, weirdly enough. They're just not balanced right, and this is one of them. We lost almost all of those games where we were just playing as 3 players, to the point that we pulled out a 4th character that we then played with us, and at 4, it was much more balanced. At 3, we struggled really hard. Not entirely sure why. It's just something with the scaling up for the difficulty just didn't quite work at least at 3. I don't know if it's just an odd number. If 5 would have the same problem or not, but with 3 it was an issue. This it probably is my favorite of the Lovecraftian games, at least that we own. I like Arkham Horror 3rd Edition a lot. So that's saying quite a bit, but I do think I like this just a bit better. And expansions. There's a bunch of expansions for this. Fantasy Flight found something they really like, and that their
and it works for them.
And they put out expansions, and they seem like they sell pretty decently. Pick up some expansions.
Going off of your final thoughts, one of the things with this game is you can hella die. Like, your character can get delayed. Or they can get swallowed, devoured. Devoured is the word. So there's that aspect.
It seemed like that happened to us more in this game than some horror did.
So like, don't get emotionally attached to the character you chose. But having said that, like, you get a whole new character. You're not just kicked out of the game if by some chance a mighty powerful demon or something eats you. This game versus some of the other Arkham Horror games especially, you feel much more disconnected from the other players. And I'm not sure if it's intentional because it's a globe-trotting thing, or if it's a side effect of how those dynamics play. But you do a lot less referring to your partner or your teammates going, hey, what are you going to go do? Should I come help you?
Yeah, you're not wrong in that. I agree. I think you got a couple of things going on there. One, it's not a city, it's the world.
Yeah, it's the world. Yeah.
And to that end, like, you can be a bit more. Actually, you have to be, but you can be more independent than you can in, say, Arkham Horror. I also wonder if part of, like, the map is expansive. Not just it's the world. I mean, it could just be the world and just have a handful of places. There's a lot of places you can go to, but also the game wants to be able to be played up to 8 players. I think that's got part to do with that, because if it was a smaller map, then 8 players would be cluttered.
And then lastly, like, at this point, we've reviewed all of the Arkham games we have, and if you liked any of them, you should at least give this a try. Like,
$55 is a good price for a game like this. There's quite a bit of meat to it.
While it's not my favorite of these games, I won't ever turn down playing it. And I would even say, like, there's games where, like, I won't be disappointing people asked to play it, but also, like, I will be in the mood for some time to be like, let me see if I can defeat Cthulhu while flying across the world.
Going to France.
Now, having said that, if you like HP Lovecraft or any of the other Fantasy Flight Arkham games, you're probably going to like this. Similarly, though, if you liked Pandemic and the fact that you are kind of going across the world to kind of handle this situation, you're also probably going to like this game. Enjoyed our review of this game, you can go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to hear more board game reviews, gamekeeper tips, tabletop DIYs, you can hit subscribe, and if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified next time we upload. So if there's nothing else,